everybody. Welcome to Wild Women Wednesdays. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, my name is Leslie Vandersall, and a little bit about my background. I have been a body worker of a number of modalities for about 18 years now, and I specialize in integrative work, which is combining a number of modalities into one session for the client's greatest benefit. And now at this phase of my career journey, I am moving into utilizing more of my coaching skills and then using these modalities in different containers. So offering workshops and programs, online courses, one-to-one coaching, those type of sessions. Some of the modalities that I use are guided imagery and visualization, guided meditation, somato-emotional release work, parts work, Reiki, to name a few. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to connect with you, and we can talk about how what I do would most benefit you. So and also, I'll mention this again at the end as well. This will actually be my last Facebook Live, and that's because I am moving this Wild Women Wednesdays to a podcast, which I am super excited about. So I'll share information as all of that gets going. I'm planning on launching that on the 25th of this month, which is 2 weeks from now. And so I'll share information as that it becomes a little more settled and solidified. And yeah, and I'll probably not be posting a lot here on Facebook. So please, please, please feel free to check out my website. It's thegutsygoddess.com, and follow me on Instagram. My handle there is It's the Gutsy Goddess. Okay, so the content for this evening. So this evening we're talking about bravery embodiment. You know, bravery is an interesting thing. I got curious, and so I don't know about you, but what do? I start Googling stuff, right? It's easy access to world of information, literally. And so, it's interesting because a better name for this evening may be courageous embodiment, because really the more I delved into it, bravery, a lot of the way that bravery often is defined is setting our fear aside, right? Being a brave person in the sense that this is like it's instinct, it's a trait that one might have. It's reacting, right? So maybe not even thinking, one might just kind of rush in and like save somebody, right? Is the example I think oftentimes that I think of anyway. And so then someone rushes in without thinking. And so it's like, well, do I really want to do a bravery embodiment? Because I don't know that people are necessarily challenged with that. What people are sometimes feeling challenged with is, and also me in my personal experience is, wow, I'm really scared. I am feeling fearful. I'm not feeling super brave. And so then that's where we then start to slip into courage, which when people talk about courage, then it's about having the fear, recognizing it, potentially most likely being mindful of the risks at hand, and then making the conscious decision to act anyway. So, I don't know about you, but people have told me that I'm quite brave, and yet, here in the general public, I would like to form a correction and say, no, 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 I'd like to say I'm courageous, because a lot of things that I do that perhaps look very brave, I'm scared. I'm really scared. And yet, how will I feel if I don't do this thing? Right? So then, so yeah, so perhaps more of a courageous embodiment this evening. And so, you may have heard the quote, "Feel the fear and do it anyway," which actually is a book by a woman, Susan Jeffers. I have not read this book. However, the reviews look fantastic, and I'm a pretty big reader, so I think I'm going to add it to my list. And so, something that Susan Jeffers talks about is that, when we feel the fear and do it anyway, which would is definitely a descriptor of being courageous. She talks about how it's about, well, a quote from her is, taking responsibility means never blaming anyone else for anything you are being, doing, having, or feeling, which I absolutely love, right? Because I'm a big proponent of the work that I offer is all about self-sovereignty. So finding our own truth, following our own voice, taking responsibility for our lives. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, I'm a big cusser. I'm trying not to cuss. Bad stuff happens, right? It does. It absolutely does. Bad stuff happens in life. I see you. I hear you. I get it 100%. And it's not about invalidating ourselves. It's not about saying that experience didn't happen, or not feeling the feelings around it, and allowing ourselves to recognize, yes, this happened, and this is a horrible thing, and now what? Right? Do I want to stay there, or do I want to move forward into what I want next? Or am I going to let that person or situation continue to have power over me? Or am I going to take control of my own life and make my own choices, right? By taking responsibility. So taking responsibility for what I am doing, what I am having, what I am feeling, what I am being. It's pretty powerful. And Susan Jeffers also states, which I totally agree with, the only way, which I don't know if it's the only way. I'm often weary of any time we're using overgeneralizations like always, never, that type of thing. So I can't say for sure that it's the only way. And yet, what Susan Jeffers has to say is the only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is to go out and do it. I don't know that it's the only way, and it is a pretty darn good way, because a lot of times, right, if we're waiting for that fear to subside, we're waiting for something to change, we can spend our whole lives waiting. And then what was that worth? Right? The last thing I want to do is be on my deathbed thinking about all the things I wish that I would have done and I didn't do. So and I feel that oftentimes the way that we build resiliency, we build confidence, is by feeling that fear and positively challenging ourselves to step into it, right? To take that risk. Because what is that risk worth? What are we worth? What are you worth? Pretty priceless, really. And so I wrote down a few ideas around that. So one thing that I notice that I do Maybe you guys did this maybe when you were younger, maybe even when you were older, but that good old 1, 2, 3, go, right? So, like jumping into a pool or, I don't know, skydiving or something like that, right? Sometimes if I take a moment, maybe I'm feeling scared to do something, and I connect with myself and I do okay, we're gonna do this thing. 1, 2, 3, and just do it, right? Because sometimes the thoughts, right, uh, our brain's job is to think. It's really great at that. It's really great at that. Great tool, horrible master, right? Because it's really good at lying too, or it could be a part of ourselves that have that belief, and yet it could be a part of ourselves it's trying to protect us, it's trying to keep us safe, and yet is it a real danger, right? Is it a real danger, or does it feel scary? I use that word just very lightly, but so also another question. So you could do the good old 1, 2, 3, right? So maybe you want to ask a gal out on a date or something like that. Oh man. Internally, 1, 2, 3, just go for it, right? And then on top of that, what's the worst thing that's going to happen, right? In that scenario, she says no. Okay, so she's not your person. Move on. Ask the next person, right? They may say yes. Never know. Uh, so what's the worst thing that could happen? And then what would I like? What? I'm trying to think of how best to ask this question. The third thing to think about would be, what if I don't do this thing, right? And my life continues on the course that it's on now. And a year from now, I'm still in this same place because I didn't take that risk. How would I feel then? So that's something to consider too. Okay, so let's go ahead and do an embodiment exercise. Okay, so go ahead and get comfy. You can sit down, maybe with your feet on the floor, because we're going to do some grounding just to start to settle in. Perhaps with your back against a couch, against the wall. You're more than welcome to lie down if you would like. Kind of depends on how likely you are to fall asleep at this point in time. So go ahead and settle in. Get comfy, maybe place a blanket over you, perhaps an eye cover, something like that. Perhaps dim the lights, and maybe, and once you're there, just go ahead and connect with your breath, taking in a few nice big deep inhales, perhaps through your nose and out through your mouth. Another one just like that, becoming aware of the temperature of the air as it moves in and out of the nostrils, the sensation at the nostrils as it moves in and out. And one more breath just like that. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it go. Good. Now become aware of your body, your internal landscape, and simply notice what you notice. If you notice nothing, that's okay. That's just fine. I'm just asking you to bring your awareness inward, pratyahara. Withdrawal of the senses, drawing all of that awareness inwardly to your internal landscape. You may begin to notice something. Maybe you notice sensations an area of tension, maybe an area of pain. Perhaps you notice colors or sounds, something like that. There is no wrong way to do this. And we're not judging or looking to change anything. It's simply becoming aware. Becoming aware. There may be even parts of yourself that do not feel connected to other parts, and that's okay. Simply become aware. Become aware, and with each exhalation, notice that you sink a little bit deeper into the surface below you. Good. And so now become aware of the bottoms of your feet, the surface on the bottoms of your feet. And notice where they meet the ground beneath you. And then I would like you to imagine, pretend if you need to, that there are roots like a tree, or perhaps beams of light. Any color of your choosing is just perfect. Perhaps these are pipes or tubes or other material, anything that you really connect with, that attach to the bottoms of your feet. Become aware of how these cords, these tubes, these roots coming out of your feet begin to descend deep, deep down into the earth, moving through the layers of soil, easily and gently, finding their way down, down, and down, all the way down to the center of the earth, core of the earth. If you find that these roots are having difficulty finding their way down to the core, you're more than welcome to call in some help, perhaps from an ancestor, an angel, a guide, anybody who you choose and you feel is able to most support you in this experience today. Good. And then once you feel these beams of lights connected to the center of the earth, then I would like you to imagine anything that is in your system, in your body, in your energetic field that is no longer of service to you. Allow that stuff to simply drain down through these roots, through these tubes, through these beams of light. Just like flushing a toilet. Imagine as if all of this stuff that you will no longer need is draining out of you, down through those roots, those cords, those tubes, all the way down into the center of the earth for that energy to be cleansed, recycled, knowing that it won't do any harm to anything or anyone. And it's simply there to be recycled, to be regenerated for future use. Wonderful. So now, trusting that whatever has cleared is exactly what needed to be cleared today, then I invite you to now, from the core of the earth, allow this beautiful liquid nourishment from the earth to begin to travel up these roots now, up the beams of light, drawing them up to nourish you and your systems, to relax you. Notice how they easily and gently draw up through these roots, reaching the bottoms of your feet, filling the bottoms of your feet as they move up to filling your feet and your ankles, moving up into your calves and filling the spaces therein as you become more and more relaxed. Allow this liquid nourishment to come up into your knees. Perhaps you notice a specific temperature, specific color to this liquid nourishment that is just right for you today. Allow the liquid nourishment to move up into your thighs, filling your hips and pelvis, slowly moving up into your abdomen, filling your stomach, your abdominal cavity, moving up into your rib cage, filling your lungs, knowing that you can breathe perhaps a little bit easier now as your lung tissues relax. And this beautiful liquid nourishment fills your chest. And as it moves up into your shoulders, perhaps you notice that they begin to soften a little bit, moving ever so slightly away from your ears. Now, notice this liquid nourishment moving from your shoulders down through your arms, through your upper arms, down through your elbows, filling your forearms, wrists, hands, all the way out through your fingertips. As you become more and more relaxed. And now this liquid nourishment moves up from your chest, filling your throat and neck, moving up into your jaw. Perhaps you notice that your tongue softly falls away from the roof of your mouth as that liquid nourishment continues up, filling your ears and your cheekbones, softening your eyes and your brain tissue, filling the space behind your forehead, filling your entire skull, coming all the way up to the top of your head. And then imagine as if this liquid nourishment, this light moves out through the top of your head and cascades down all around you like a fountain, creating a safe, protective bubble around you with the shower of liquid nourishment and light. Good. Wonderful. So now, what I would like you to do is using your imaginations and faculties there within, I would like you to bring to mind somebody. Can be a celebrity, perhaps it is somebody who you know, a family member or a friend, perhaps even an animal. Whatever you choose is just perfect. This person, this animal, will be the embodiment of bravery. So as you imagine, so then bring to mind somebody or something, an animal, a creature, that when you bring to mind that person, that creature, you know them to be brave, you know them to be courageous, and perhaps they are a role model for you. Perhaps you know them to be a brave and courageous individual, and you have noticed them and you have followed them, and you have noticed in the past and in the present, wow, I would really like to be like that. I would really like to be like that. I would really like to be that brave, that courageous. Bring that person, that animal to mind. And then I would like you to quickly, internally, state to yourself those characteristics that they have. Maybe, 3 to 5, maybe characteristics of what you feel makes them, or what it is about them that demonstrates to you that they embody the spirit of bravery and courage. Right? Maybe they're strong, maybe they're intelligent, maybe they are confident. Once again, there is no wrong way to do this. Okay, so just bring some of those characteristics to mind. And so I want you to really see them in your experience, really feel them in your experience. Perhaps they're standing in front of you. Some people see images in their mind's eye. If that's the case, wonderful. If you are not one of those people, that's perfectly fine. Simply imagine as if they were standing in front of you. Perhaps that might feel a certain way. Perhaps you may just know this person is standing in front of me, right? Using your imagination with your eyes closed. So then I would like to invite you to step behind this person. Step right behind them. And know that we have already gotten their permission for this. Okay, this is a simple practice. And then when you are ready, I'd like to invite you to, this is just temporarily, we're not going to stay here. Step into them. Step into this individual, into this animal. And just for a moment, really feel what it is like to be them. To be brave, to be courageous. What does that feel like? You may feel your heart lifting a little bit and your shoulders rolling back. You may feel yourself standing a little bit taller. Maybe there is a specific sound that you notice, or maybe even a smell or a taste. Allow yourself to simply marinate in what this feels like of being truly brave and courageous. Just a moment longer here, so really soak that up, soak that in. What that feels like. That could feel like. It would feel like. And then when you're ready, go ahead and step back out of them. Come to the front of them, facing this individual, this animal. I would like you to thank them for this experience. And they may have a message for you. I invite you to receive that message now. They may have something to give you. They may have something to say to you. Perhaps it's a simple parting or a hug. I'm going to leave a little space here for you to experience that now. Good, wonderful. So now I am going to invite you to slowly come back from this experience, knowing that you will remember and bring back everything that is most needed and most beneficial for you today. And so go ahead and take a nice big full deep breath coming back into your body. Perhaps you begin to physically awaken the body. You begin to wiggle your toes, some fingers, coming back into this room, back into this space. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. And so that is one way, a very simple way that we can begin to embody what it might be like to have a specific characteristic, right? So today we chose bravery and courage. And so it may be when you're in a sticky moment, I invite you to revisit this experience. Go, oh, what would that person do? What would that animal do? And see how that feels. See how you might feel different in that experience until you begin to really embody that on your own on a regular basis. So seems there was something else I was going to say and I've forgotten. So thank you for sharing that experience with me. That process. Once again, this is just one way. This is a pretty simple way that we can do that practice. There are other ways as well. I'm going a little bit over, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Once again, I do offer, if this is something that you want to work with on a regular basis, do these embodiment practices with me one-on-one, or delve a little bit deeper into some of the blocks that you're experiencing because you're finding that you're wanting to get somewhere and for some reason not able to get there. Sometimes what can happen is that we have things that are hanging out, right? Subconscious beliefs that are getting in the way of where we want to go. And so if you would like some coaching around that, if you would like to work with me, I do offer one-to-one Zoom sessions. So I'm in Colorado. You don't have to be in Colorado. I know for a fact that I have a couple openings the 24th of this month. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out to me and we'll get you on the schedule. I'll also do a complimentary call with you just to see if we're a good fit. if you feel like this is something that you're wanting to do right now, how I can most benefit you, please, please, please feel free to reach out. Once again, this Wild Woman Wednesdays will be moving to podcast starting January the 25th. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to take next week off, and then we'll hit the ground running on the 25th. I'll post more information as that becomes solidified. And once again, feel free, please actually go ahead and follow me. I won't be doing a lot of posting here on Facebook. I'm going to put a lot of my energy into Instagram and some other areas for now. And so please feel free to follow me on Instagram. In fact, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and follow me. And in fact, like this, please leave a comment, share with your friends. Let's help as many people as possible, right? I think we could always use a little more encouragement, a little more bravery, a little more support in our lives. And then Bravery Code, it's slightly on hold right now, my Bravery Code program. I'm reframing it. I'm in the process of reframing it. So know that it is coming. It's on the way. You can read about it on my website. It's thegutsygoddess.com. If you're interested, or once again, reach out to me. Okay. So thank you everybody so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure seeing you all on Facebook Live. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and I will see you next time. Namaste.